Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So आज we will be discussing today the first 10 verses of second chapter. Last time we discussed the structure of the second chapter, and now there are two parts to this class. Part one is we will focus a little bit on from verse number 24 in chapter number 1 till verse number 46, and then we'll come to these 10 verses. You don't have to go through all the verses. I'm just preparing the background in order to understand how one reaches to the stage of taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So, in 1.24, Arjun requests the Lord, and the Lord puts the chariot in the middle of the two armies, and then he looks at the whole thing. So those of you who make notes for these classes, you can make note, and I'm going to share that there are 4 emotions which Arjun goes through. The first emotion is compassion. The second emotion is self-profit or benefit. The third emotion is sin. And the fourth emotion is extended effects of the action. So I repeat, the first is compassion. The second is self-profit or benefit. The third is sin. And the fourth is extended effect of the sin. Or you can say the third as personal effect of the sin, and fourth as the extended effect of the sin. So in these 4 categories, you can describe Arjun's Vishad, his bewilderment. It's fairly simple to understand. 26, 27, 28, if you look at those verses, and again in the second chapter, if you look at once Krishna says, how come it happened to you? Kutastva kashmalamidam. And after that also he again goes through the same thing. Katham bhishmaham sankhya dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi prati yotsyami pujarha varisudana. How will I, again strike back at those who are worshipable? So you have to understand this as something that all of us go through. It's a beautiful organization of emotions, how he has arranged them. So first is because he is a sadhu, he is a devotee by nature, he's not thinking about his benefit. He's saying, how can I kill them? Oh no, they are so dear to me. They are not to be killed. So that is why compassion. Now you go a step further, and then you see that even if someone who is close to us through a familial connection, a cousin, an uncle, or an aunt, and they commit a mistake, then it's not that immediately we respond with proportion, we give a proportionate response. We do not. At least in Vedic culture, we don't. Even if the uncle or the aunt or the mother-in-law or the father-in-law, if they come with harsh words or harsh acts, initially it is expected of a sober person to tolerate. Suppose, someone amongst you asks a question and I go heavy. You don't even know that much. You will feel the heat. You will not like it. But chances are you won't speak up. It's not your fear. It's very beautiful emotion that has been ingrained in you because of your samskar. when it went over the top, and it, you know, the uncles and the aunts and the relatives became way too harsh, and you did not know what is the right reciprocation. That's when this culture of soberness was challenged by the Westerners. That why are you so suppressed? Why don't you speak up? Why are you living in hell? So those kind of strong statements started coming out. But I would not digress. I'm just coming back to that he knew what Duryodhan and his brothers were up to. It's not possible to describe this emotion in words. People who we love, they commit mistakes towards us, and we can't reciprocate, we can't respond, and that pain is love. We tolerate. Arjun also in 11th chapter, when he's praying to the Lord, he will say, my dear Lord, not knowing who you were, I joked with you. Sometimes I made fun of you. Sometimes I spoke rudely to you. But then he says, as a father tolerates, as a lover tolerates, you kindly tolerate my inadequacies. So, this compassion as an emotion has to be understood clearly, that people do horrible things to us and they are close to us. That's material world for us. And don't think it happens here only. When Jai Vijay fell off from Vaikuntha, so many residents of Vaikuntha cried aloud. They said, oh no, they shouldn't have gone down. So Arjun, when he looked at them, he became overwhelmed. And Prabhupada says in the purport that though it is not mentioned, but Arjun was actually crying. And he was crying copiously, continuously, in too much volume. That was welcome to Bhagavad Gita. We are entering into it. And the most beautiful aspect is that our hero is such. He suffers. This is life. This suffering for others wins Krishna. So that must happen. So once he saw and he looked at this phalanx of the armies, and he figured out that he's up against his own relatives. That's fine, that's one part. But the immediate next emotion was, what am I going to gain out of it? Then he compared things versus people. And he says, no, that's not a good cost benefit analysis. I am paying the cost of lives to get things, not a profitable business. So one, he did not want to kill his own people. Two, he did not see much value in it. Then he went further, that if I kill them, I will be incurring sin of killing my kinsmen, which is separate from the benefit. It's a reaction of that. What will happen once I kill them? I will incur sin. And then he doesn't stop there. Then he says, it's not just me. So many people will be killed. And then once the husbands and sons die, the women will go unprotected. And then there will be free sex life. And then they will have progeny or children. And therefore, those deceased, dead soldiers won't have children to, who can offer oblations, who can offer tarpan to them. So he's not only thinking about himself, he's also thinking about everyone else who's connected with that war. And then he's again doing cost benefit. He's saying, what for? This is such a stage setup where you have compassion, self benefit, you have sinful reaction towards you, and you have, harmful effects of this act on others. And after consolidating his thoughts, he said, no, this is not done. This is not good. And they said, Govinda, I will not fight. There are many things which will come to why Krishna is called Govinda, why he's addressing Arjuna as Partha, and all of those things. That's a separate thing. But here, the thing to be understood is how he went through his emotions. And such a beauty. First, preference is compassion, then one's own benefit, then the sinful reactions on of one's action, and then the large scale loss. Dear devotees, it doesn't matter how important or significant the fight is. The set of emotions that you saw belong to a devotee heart. That's Arjun for us. And this is how you should understand him for the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. He is situated in that sense. He is sober and he has a very soft heart. He is materially very advanced, but he is spiritually even more advanced. So we all must bow down to Sri Arjun for the kind of personality he is, considerate, tolerant, compassionate, one who thinks of the welfare of everyone else. You should not get into Bhagavad Gita with the thought process that I am going to study it analytically. Because when you analyze something too much, the experience disappears. I'm not against analysis, but I'm against analysis paralysis. So, requesting you to have that kind of a soft heart, or at least empathize or try to understand how Arjun is thinking. And when this stage comes in your life where you get confused, and there is this thing of I will not fight, but it doesn't stop there, mind you. He's still perturbed. He says, but if I don't fight, then also they won't stop. They will keep on doing what they are doing. So he says, I don't know, Krishna, what is better for me. So now what I want is that all of you, keeping this background in mind, kindly open your copy of Bhagavad Gita and read one by one verse to me, so that then, we can properly discuss the flow as well as what is written in each of the verses. So may I request one of you to kindly open your, okay, Badri Vishal Prabhu, do you wish to read, and after that maybe
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Chidambar Prabhu?
yes, Prabhu, I will.
Please go ahead.
Sanjay said, seeing Arjun full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudan Krishna spoke the following words. Chidambar,
What
sir, you will read the.
what is the Sanskrit verse of it?
Ah, oh,
Sanjay Vacha.
okay.
Tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakya uvacha Madhusudana. And Srila Prabhupada tells us in the purport, why has he been addressed as Madhusudan? Because now Arjun is bewildered. And who has caused this bewilderment? So The term Madhu is used for a demon. And right now, Arjun has been attacked by the demon of misunderstanding. He is not able to understand it properly. So, in order to kill this demon which has arisen in his heart, the demon of misunderstanding, he is then addressing the Lord with that intent. See, this is the benefit of the commentaries of Acharya, because majority of them were having Leela darshans. They could transport into these talks. They knew the emotions and the mellows and the richness. It is not available anywhere. Everywhere it is intellectual, intellectual, intellectual. Yes, intellect is needed, but the mood is also needed. You need to know how desperate Arjun was to seek guidance and advice. That's why I say Sanjay Uvash tam tatha kripaya avishtam. He got overwhelmed by compassion. Kripaya avishtam. Overwhelmed tam tatha. Ashru purna or purna akul. Ashru purna akul ikshanam. His eyes were full of tears. Vishidantam. And he was overwhelmed by grief and bewilderment. Not happy, lamenting basically, Vishidant. Idam Vakya, such statements, Uvach Madhusudana, in order to dispel the myth, the misunderstanding, the demon of misunderstanding, Madhusudan spoke. It's not Radhakant who spoke. He's not being addressed as that. It's not Nandasut who spoke or Nandanandan who spoke. It's the Madhusudan, one who killed the demon Madhu. So now I am stuck, my dear Lord. That's why this is the way he has been addressed. So I'm requesting all of you, those who are sincerely trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, that understand it through acharyas, how they want. And when you will read the purport, you will be able to connect with it. Can someone please go on to the next one? Okay. Ram Kamalesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Because we have to read our only translation.
We can read the Sanskrit verse as well as the translation.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Justam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Yes.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of the life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hari Hari. So here tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidan, this is done. And then the Lord speaks, kutastva kashmalam idam vishame samupasthitam. And he uses three negatives, anarya justam, asvargyam, akirti, karmarjuna. The Lord expressed his surprise, kutastva kashmalam idam. How come this contamination came upon you? Vishame Samupa in such an hour, how come this happened? So why is Lord wondering? Now we have to connect it with your life. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed by Maya because we are closely observing Maya that we genuinely forget that we are spiritual and we are protected. We forget both of them. When you get overwhelmed with material energy of the Lord, then you genuinely forget. This is amazing. And it happens with everyone. So Krishna is saying, I am here, right here on the chariot with you. Why? How come? And who are you? And Anarya Jushtam, it doesn't befit a sober person who is Arya and who is Anarya. Arya is who understands the value of life. What does this statement mean? Who understands that life's time has to be, please note this down carefully. Arya means one who understands value of life, and value of life means that this life is meant to gain spiritual knowledge in order to get out of this material sphere. That's the value of life. You are living this life to utilize it in such a way that you can leave this place forever and associate with what is permanent. And Krishna says, one who knows the value of life doesn't get bewildered. So therefore it is anarya. And then you won't get swarg like this because you are running away from the battlefield. You are refusing to do your prescribed duty. So not only it's uncivilized, it won't get you to heaven. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam. On top of it, even here you will not be able to live peacefully because it will cause infamy, akirti, 3 losses by one activity. Even now, because Arjun hasn't made Krishna his spiritual master. So as of now also, the Lord is just suggesting him. There is a difference in this. He hasn't taken charge of Arjun. He just saw Arjun in this situation and tried to pep him up. So he's not saying you are not this body, this, that, nothing. He's saying Kutastva, how come? Kashmalam idam, this contamination. Vishame samupasitam has come upon you at this juncture. Anarya Jushtam. It doesn't befit you. Asvargyam, you won't get. Akirti, and it will cause infamy, Arjun. Don't miss out on the mellows of intimate friendship. Don't miss out on the softness of Arjun's heart. Flow along, because that's where Bhagavad Gita is. That's where rasa is. Then you will be able to live it. In the sense you can relish it, not live it. So try to relish this mutual extreme affection. Let's try and go to the next verse. Can someone please read the next verse? Okay. Shilpi Mataji, you had unmuted and then again muted yourself. Yeah, you can read. Please go ahead. Very faintly, we can't hear you. Okay, still I don't think your mic is working. No issues. Can someone else please try? All of you should try and read. Don't hesitate. It's a class which is a two-way class. It's not a one-way class.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to read that.
Yes, please read, Prabhu.
क्लभ्यं मा स्मागमः पार्थ न ते त्वय उपापद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्वत्तिष्ठा परन्तप.
Wonderful.
O son of Parth, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Next story.
Now look at the sweetness again. Prabhupada is telling in purport, those of you who have come prepared. Prabhupada is indicating why has he been addressed as Partha. So, Klebya ma smagama Partha. All of you, if you ever want a motivational verse, then paste these two verses, because these two verses pep you up. If you're feeling down, read these two. Kutastva Kashmalamidam. And second is this one. Klebium ma smagama, Parth. Please don't get into that depressive thing. Klebium ma smagama. Ma means no. Smagama, don't go there. Naitatva yupapadyate. It doesn't befit you. Shudram hridaya dorbalyam. Shudra is attached to the result. Leave it. It's a weakness of the heart. Shudram hridaya dorbalyam. Tyaktva. Leave it. Uttishtha. And get up. Who get up? Parantapa. Chastiser of the enemy. So many things Krishna is doing simultaneously here. So Acharyas tell us why, he has been addressed as Parth, because Krishna wants to remind him of his phenomenal lineage, that you come from the family of Pratha, my Bua Kunti, whose other name is Pratha. And since you are Pratha Putra, therefore you are called Parth. So how can you forget? You are a Kshatriya, and such a top class Kshatriya. So he's still pepping him up, but not giving him the divine knowledge. He's still acting as a well wishing friend, but not as a guru. This is a difference between suggestion and surrender. In suggestion, we decide, the other person gives a piece of advice. In surrender, Guru decides and we execute. So, though in these two verses Krishna appears to be pepping him up, what are you thinking? And he's calling him Parantapa to remind him that you are the chastiser of the enemies. And right now, the enemy is right here. It's all about reminding him of his prescribed duty without using those words. What the Lord is doing is, he's taking advantage of Arjun's inherent nature and attempting to see if he can motivate him sufficiently to fight. It's like when you tell your child, how come you got such marks? You, or topper in the class of previous years. Then the guy says, oh man, this is me. Parantapa, chastiser of the enemy, topper in the class, last 5 years, like that. Or your father was a topper in the class. This is an attempt being made to pep him up. Please read the next verse. And open up and read out. If you don't know where to go, go to vedabase.com. VEDABDE. Sorry, VEDABASE, vedabase.com. Mataji can share the link, and there you can open Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so who is now? Okay, Ranjan Prabhu, please read.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
it was not Arjun's nature to be like that. Like I heard that Krishna only made him to think that way so that he can tell the Gita part to all for the whole world. So that's why he made Arjun to ask those type of questions and those emotions arises him. So because it was not Arjun to be like that. Now why the Krishna is saying to him, uh, does not become you or uh, give up such petty weakness, because he was not having all those things, because Krishna only made him to feel like that so that he can ask questions, so it will be beneficial for all the world.
It is often put like that, Prabhuji, the way you are mentioning it.
Okay.
Arjun is playing the role of a bewildered soul, and Krishna is playing the role of a guru. This is a very common way of interpretation. I'm not saying it's an incorrect interpretation, but When we say he made it happen, it's a very deep answer actually, which I'm going to share with you, hoping that I will be able to convey. Actually, so many pious souls on one side and impious souls on other side. Prabhuji, remember this answer for forever. We, whatever we do, our destiny, Krishna knows, but Krishna doesn't create our destiny. There is a difference between knowing the outcome of an activity and influencing that activity. So now, when we are saying Krishna influenced the activity, that is incorrect. Krishna knew about it, that it would happen, and that would be the time to re-establish the divine knowledge, which you will study in 4th chapter, when Krishna will say, in the due course of time, though I spoke it to Sun God, who then subsequently spoke it to Vivaswan, uh, who then spoke, Sun God Vivaswan, who spoke to Manu, Manu spoke to Ikshvaku, like that from the kings that knowledge came down. So, but during this time, somewhere the message got diluted. So, therefore, I am speaking to you again. But even this is not attempted to influence anything. Anything. How do I explain this? It's like you open your system, you open an Excel sheet, and if you press the button of plus, then something will get added to something. And you know, therefore, that because these three buttons are being pressed, the output has to be this. You are not touching, someone else is dealing with the system. But you know the answer. Demigods also know, and the Lord Himself knows that this is going to happen. The point I'm saying is, uh, one Acharya, His Holiness Radha Govind Swami, he states very nicely. He says, does Krishna come and hold a cigarette and put it to our lips? No, we smoke. Does Krishna come and give us a peg of wine? No, we make and we drink.
But I have one question.
Please
Arjun
ask.
was a great devotee and he was there with Krishna as a nar. Uh, and now, how come he can fallen in this situation like this? He knows everything. What is the value of life in this situation? Because anybody can fall after, I mean, years of devotion.
What happens is, suppose the Lord created 8.4 million species. In each species, there is one super excellent one. So the Lord would say, amongst the flowing waters, I am the river Ganga. That does not mean Ganga is equal to Krishna. The best bhindi, the best kaddu, the best matar, the best flower, the best crocodile, the best elephant, the best horse, amongst all species, that best exists. Krishna only talked about Nar, that okay, amongst the men, I am you. But that doesn't mean Arjun is Krishna. Please understand the difference. It's the superlative thing. It's like a jeev, a living entity exhibiting the best possible amongst those, that particular species. That's why he says, amongst the elephant, I am the Airavat. Amongst the horses, I am the Uchchashrava. But that does not mean Uchchashrava or Airavat has the potency of Krishna. Airavat falls down, Airavat can commit mistakes, and he does commit mistakes. That's why when Indra gave him a garland, instead of, you know, honoring the garland, he took it through his tusk, fell, threw it on the ground and crushed it under his feet. Because he's an elephant at the end of the day. Whatever is best in us, there is a very beautiful couplet said by Bahadur Shah Zafar. He said, हमने पूछा क्या हुआ वो तेरा हुस्नो शबाब हंसकर बोले वो सनम शान खुदा थी मैं न था. So we asked, what is the, what happened to that beauty of yours? And the lady responded saying, when the Lord wanted to express his excellence through me, he did so. Shane khuda thi, main na tha. So this excellence comes out in living entities in varying degrees, but there is one person who exhibits it best. Amongst the men, it is Arjun. He's not as good as Bhishma. Prabhupada mentions that Bhishma Pitama was as so powerful that he could have taken on 40 Arjuns. And Karna was a better fighter than Arjun. But Krishna did not say amongst men, I am Karna, or I no, because you have to have material efficiency and devotional attitude. So the thought that is coming to your mind that he is a nar and it's a leela, we have to step back from that. Now, what is happening to Arjun is genuinely happening. It's not a stage set up for the questions to come out. If I could convey this to you, that it was destined to occur at this exact moment when it is occurring. So there are four yugas, and then there is Manvantar, and so on and so forth, and everything is calculated. This mode he has acquired, accordingly he will do this, then he will meet this person, then because of his nature, but because this person has this habit, again the two of them will fight with each other. They'll hate, the hatred would increase, this hatred would reflect on the children, but they aren't influencing, they are just calculating. Because
So,
we have this thing, Prabhuji, the reason I'm elongating this answer is because there's something very deep in this. We have this thing that boss कर तो तुम ही रहे हो यार, हम कठपुतली हैं, नचा रहे हो. I want each one of the audiences present right now to get out of it and take onus that everyone has been given the choice, and I am being told the best path. So I better stick to this path, and which is another choice, and get out of this. Otherwise, we will keep on thinking the whole Bhagavad Gita is staged. I'm saying Bhagavad Gita's time was there for it to occur, so it is occurring.
like in my life, I've seen something I want to do, but it doesn't happen that way. So, however I try, it doesn't happen that way many times. So, I feel it is destined. So, whatever I try, it's not happening. It's going to happen because it's fixed.
So yes, so thank you for this again. What is
That way.
fixed? Mm.
So,
Just take an
by
example. Take an example, you will understand. I did give this example, I think, previous to previous class, that, you know, parents go to office, leaving two children in the home. One child takes care of his room very nicely. Another one makes a mess out of it. The parents come, they are very happy with one child. Another one gets a sauce because he messed up. Now, the destiny word, which is whatever you are not getting, is simple answer is karma does not suffice. That's it. You need more piety for that result to happen. When you will perform those actions accordingly, in due course of time, there is no reason why wouldn't you get it. And you don't need Krishna for that. It's on an auto mode, Prabhuji. This has been set up like that.
So, Prabhuji, I understand that it means any great devotee also may fall anytime, even though
Ah,
he's having close association of Krishna, even though he may fall anytime in his
unless and
life.
until you are a pure devotee, which is extremely, extremely rare. Pure devotee means 24/7 you are Krishna conscious. Impossible. But otherwise, anyone
Yeah.
can fall. Because suppose, take my example. If I have a tendency coming from my previous samskaras, then the moment my mind is away from the service of the Lord and I willingly commit offense, then I will take reaction. This has to be very, very clear. If you want
Okay, thank
to,
you.
yeah, if you want to remain aloof from those things, then you have to become 100% Krishna conscious, or somebody is merciful on you. His mercy is protecting you. That's a separate case. Sometimes, very compassionate people, guru, etc., they say, all right, you are right now coming up the ladder, we will offer protection to you. Then they take the reaction, but someone has to take the reaction. Towards the end, dear Prabhu, in the 18th chapter, Krishna will tell, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. I will take all your sinful reactions. Because sinful reactions can't disappear. Someone has to take them. So if we were supposed to have cancer, then Krishna will have to get cancer. Then it will, but they can burn out. They can burn it out, down actually, these reactions, because they are very powerful. So Guru takes reactions, and then for a while you get that liberty. But again, I'm coming to Bhagavad Gita had to occur. It's not staged. And whatever happens in our life, it's born out of our choices. And the whole idea is change the choice. So it's fine. Everything will protect you. Prasad protects, Dham Yatra protects, Nam protects, Krishna in his, Vigraha form protects. But that protection is aside. Right now, change the choice, output would change. Thank you very much for asking. I'm very satisfied and happy that questions are being asked.
प्रभु जी, one small doubt if you're okay.
Please go ahead, Chidambaram.
प्रभु जी, आपने बताया that I mean he compared with the greatest people like Airavat, Arjun and all, but Bhishma also was a person of great devotion, and you said he was equal to 40 Arjunas. So why the example of Bhishma was not given? Because he was on the other side, or happened to be on the wrong side?
When Lord compares, he compares a combination of material efficiency and conduct or character, both, not just one part. So Bhishma excelled and Karna excelled over Arjun in material efficiency, but lacked on the conduct part. They were on the side of adharma. And where adharma is there, the Lord can't be represented like that.
So Prabhuji,
So
then the pratigya taken by Bhishma made him do that activity that was wrong?
no, that's a very beautiful emotion expressed by Krishna. Uh, in the 7th or 8th chapter, you will read where Krishna will boldly announce, he will say, go ahead, Arjun, and say to the whole world that my devotee never perishes. Shipram bhavati dharmatma, shashvat shanti nirgachyati, kaunteya prati janihi, name bhaktya pranashyati. Go and boldly announce, Arjun, that my devotee never perishes. What does that mean? Why is Krishna telling Arjun to say it? Because Krishna can break his promise. But if his devotee makes a promise, then Krishna won't break it. Point being made is there is such a sweet relationship between Bhishma Dev and Lord Hari that when Bhishma Dev heard that Krishna has, declared that he won't pick up any weapon, then out of his love for his Lord, he says the fun would be if I make you pick up the weapon. So what is the trick? You can't win over the Lord. But devotees are Krishna's weakness. So Bhishma was clear that if I, bewilder Arjun sufficiently, and if I overpower him, and if I'm about to kill him, then Krishna will not be left with any choice. He will have to break his promise. This is extremely romantic, actually. And when Bhishmadev started throwing arrows at Arjun, after a while, Arjun he couldn't answer.
Okay.
And then he broke the bow and the arrow and everything. And then Bhishmadev was ready, and Krishna was so upset with Arjun. He said, why aren't you using your best? What are you saving it for? Saying this, the Lord got down from the chariot. He picked up that wheel and then he was about to throw, because he can't, his devotees are his weakness. It's not today, it has been the case forever.
Okay.
So that's a very, very, very secretive, confidential, intimate, loving exchange between the
Otherwise,
devotees.
Bhishma also is a great personality that way if we see.
Oh, he's a Mahajan.
Okay.
He's a Mahajan. But and there are only 9 Mahajans.
Okay.
But even then, he is not Arjun amongst the Nar.
Okay.
He's
Thank you,
of
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay. Can please one of you read the next verse?
Hare Krishna
There-
Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, Shilpi Mataji, please go ahead.
कथं भीष्म अहं संख्ये द्रोणं च मधुसूदनम् इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजार हा वरिसूदन.
Yes. Read the translation, please.
अर्जुन ने कहा, हे शत्रुहंता, हे मधुसूदन, मैं युद्ध भूमि में किस तरह भीष्म तथा द्रोण जैसे पूजनीय व्यक्तियों पर उलट कर वाण चलाऊंगा. प्रभु जी तात्पर्य भी.
नहीं मतलब. So look at the kind of conversation that's happening. It's a friendly conversation in the sense that one friend is proposing an argument, the other friend is, dispelling it, and then again the new argument is being proposed. So Arjun has not given up. He said, what are you saying? They are worshipable. What etiquette will it reflect? Devotees, just get into how the flow is taking place from Arjun. He's not considering Krishna as someone senior, so he's arguing back. But he's considerate of elderlies because he thinks they are worshipable, but actually Krishna is the most worshipable. But in the Sakya Ras, friendship mellows, he has forgotten. He's just arguing back. And he's saying, Katha Bhishma Ham Sankhya Dronam cha Madhusudana. Ishubhi Prati Yotsyami. I'll fight back. Pujarha, they are worthy of my worship. So not possible. Please read the next verse. Anybody can read. Go ahead.
Prabhuji, I want.
Yeah, but please,
Gurun,
please.
Gurun ahatva hi maha anubhavan shreya bhoktum bhakshyam api ihi loke hatva arth kaman tu gurun ihi ev bhujiye bhogan rudhir pradigdhan.
Bhunjiya bhogan rudhir pratigdhan.
It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of life of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superior. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Thank you.
This is the pinnacle of Arjun's heart, actually. That Bhunjiya bhogan rudhir pratigdhan. Whatever we will be eating, that will be verily embroiled in their blood. How are you saying this? You're saying just get up and kill them. You're saying I'm not brave enough. This doesn't befit me. But what doesn't befit me? Not honoring my seniors, not honoring those who are worshipable. And then on top of it, though desiring to fight, they want to fight with us. Even then we should not fight. That's her. I'm not unnecessarily pepping it up. This is Arjun. He's genuine. Because he's completely forgetful of his identity as a soul. He genuinely thinks this is Arjun, this is Bhishma, this is Drona, this is Kripacharya. He thinks like that. And he has forgotten that all these identities are short-lived, anitya. They are not permanent. He has forgotten it. That is why he's so deeply engrossed. And now the next 2 verses that you are going to hear, particularly the 6th verse, he will now share his root confusion. What is that confusion? I am very attached. I can't kill them, but I have to fight. I must fight. Just hear out this verse, next verse. Please read on.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Yes, please पढ़िए।
ना चैतात विधिमः कतरेन न गर्युः याद व जयमा यदि वानो जययोः यान एव हत्वा न जिजीविषाम वैस्तवः परम मुखे धातृराष्ट्रः।
Very
Nor
nice.
nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
This stage comes in our lives. The most important, is it okay if I extend this class up to 8:45? All you guys are okay with it?
Yeah, okay,
No
Prabhuji.
issues.
But we started a
Yes.
little late, so we are entering into the prime thing of the class actually. So he's saying, which one is better? We weigh options in our everyday things, and we continuously suffer from something called confusion. Which option is better? Killing them or being killed by them? And if we kill them, what is the, how will we live? And if you have to understand it better, go ahead and read Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, where Bhishma Dev's, passing away has been described at length. Yudhishthir Maharaj is continuously crying, continuously. And other Pandu brothers are also crying. And what are they saying? They said, why did we do what we did? So many dead bodies, lakhs of them, such carnage. It's a thought that can become overwhelming. You can't connect with it if you haven't gotten a few people killed by your thinking process. Yudhishthir Maharaj is continuously crying and consoled by none other than the Lord Himself that yes, this is life. We have to take decisions. Dear devotees, when we take body, we take so many dharma. Putra dharma, pitra dharma, matra dharma, vidyarthi dharma, vyavasayi dharma. God only knows mitra dharma, so many of them, different types. And then we have to fulfill it. So Arjun has Kshatriya duty to perform. And then he has to take care of parivarik dharma. There is a clash between the two. And all glories to our, serials, particularly the previous ones. The Ramayana of Arun Govil, where somebody like Meghnad is going to fight. And the background music and the lyrics were भावुकता से कर्तव्य बढ़ा, कर्तव्य निभे बलिदानों से, दीपक जलने की रीत नहीं, छोड़े डर कर तूफानों से. Just because there will be air doesn't mean we should not, lit a diya. We still do. Just because this beard would come back again, we don't stop shaving. Just because there'll be accident, we don't stop driving. Because we have to execute our prescribed duty and get finished in that process. That's the truth of life. And Arjun is reaching that stage where his intelligence is now going to get blocked. He's saying, what to do? Whether I fight, I kill them, or they kill me. Which one is better? I don't know. Please read the next verse.
प्रभु जी मैं पढ़ता हूँ।
पढ़िए।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे।
कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि माम त्वाम प्रपन्नम।
Correct.
अब मैं अपनी कृपण दुर्बलता के कारण अपना कर्तव्य भूल गया हूँ और सारा धैर्य खो चुका हूँ। ऐसी अवस्था में मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ कि जो मेरे लिए श्रेयस्कर हो उसे निश्चित रूप से बताएं। अब मैं आपका शिष्य हूँ और आपका शरणागत हूँ। कृपया मुझे उपदेश दें। बहुत अच्छा श्लोक मिला
Now,
मुझे। हरे कृष्ण बाबू जी।
very important verse. Now the relationship changes. The dynamics also change. He realizes that he's suffering from miserly weakness. He's realizing it now. And then he said, Dharma Sammudha Cheta. I'm completely, I got blocked here. Can't process further what to do. Now that I am in this situation, Shishyaste Hom, I am your disciple. Shadimam, instruct me. Tvam Prapannam, I am sheltered at your lotus feet. That's how it works. So, those of you who want to make spiritual master, who want to take initiation, we must understand how did Arjun become qualified? His intelligence is stuck. From here, where do I go? So he's saying Karpanya doshopahata swabhava. Prachami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. And nishchitam bruhitan me. Please ascertain what is better for me. And then tell me. Shishyaste ham, I'm your disciple. I want you to travel through that organization of thought of compassion and self benefit and sin to the self and the sinful reaction to the self and then extended sinful reactions and then the Lord pepping him up and then he again arguing and then he says, I'm stuck. What to do? But this is not a routine bewilderment. This is extreme bewilderment where there is too much at stake. If those of you who are not able to understand the gravitas, the significance, here millions of lives are dependent on this decision of Arjun. And Arjun is tempted. It is very clear he is tempted. That's why he himself is saying Karpanya dosho. In order to not undergo the suffering of killing my own people. This is my attachment, which is keeping me away from doing my duty. That's why I don't know what is right code of conduct for me. So that's when you need a guru. And the dynamic changes now. Now he is not a friend. Please read the next verse. Anybody can read, it's okay. I mean, if you are repeating, you can repeat because we are only 9 of us here.
Nani
Nishikant,
Prapash.
Kaushik Prabhu, please.
नहि प्रपश्यामि ममापनु ध्यान मच्छोखमच्छो निष्यामि अव्याय भूमव राज्यं सुरा निमिषि छातिपथ्यम्.
Mm. What does the translation say?
I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrevealed kingdom on earth with sovereignty, like the demigods in the heaven.
Even if I win, I'll not be able to satisfy myself. And so he's still putting forth the same argument in a cloaked manner. And he's highlighting what condition he is in right now. The only reason why I'm saying is one should take to Guru with such seriousness. And the main point is Shadhimam, instruct me. I'm not discussing with you. That's gone. I'm not seeking your advice. That's also gone. Now you instruct me, do this. Two things take away. First takeaway is you are led by the circumstances to a situation in life where you become qualified to take shelter of the spiritual master. Then you should take a spiritual master. When you genuine boss, I do not know. I want to know now. What is soul? What is super soul? What is kal? What is prakriti? What is karma? Can somebody properly tell me all of this? I really genuinely want to know. This is for my welfare. Then go to Guru. And second is, once you go to Guru, take instruction. That's the business. वो सर पे हाथ रख दीजिए is not how it works. Give me instructions. I will follow instruction. All of you, most of you at least, belong to the scientific field. So you all know how a process works. You have to follow steps. Then the end result comes. Without following steps, if somebody bypasses, he won't reach. What is instruction? Instruction is step by step guidance. Now do this, now do this, now do this. So we'll read the last verse now for today. Is this verse number 10?
Verse number 9.
9. Okay. पढ़िए निशिकांत प्रभु प्लीज.
हरे कृष्ण.
Yes.
संजय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशं गुणाकेशः परन्तपः न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दमुक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः. संजय ने कहा, इस प्रकार कहने के बाद शत्रुओं का दमन करने वाला अर्जुन कृष्ण से बोला, हे गोविंद, मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा, और चुप हो गया. हरे कृष्ण.
लास्ट वर्स भी पढ़ दीजिए प्रभु जी, उसके बाद ही फिर डिस्कशन करते हैं 2 मिनट.
तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः प्रहसन्नीव भारत सेनयोरुभयो मध्ये विषीदन्तमिदं वचः. हे भरतवंशी धृतराष्ट्र, उस समय दोनों सेनाओं के मध्य शोकमग्न अर्जुन से कृष्ण ने मानो हंसते हुए ये शब्द कहे. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
तो आचार्य इस इमोशन के बारे में बोलते हैं कि हंसे क्यों भगवान. तो आप पढ़ेंगे तात्पर्य में. एंड when I hear in Hindi, I start speaking in Hindi. But the reason Krishna smiled was because this transition from a friend to a guru was a bit awkward and it was a bit abrupt and sudden. So Krishna says he was treating me like a friend and now he wants to, treat me like a guru. On this funny situation, the Lord smiled a bit that now I have to act in that position of a, if you can relate with it, it's like this, that your child, was maybe 5-year-old kid was wrestling with you, and then he came to his senses that you are very strong, and he bows down at you. So before that, he was under this misconception that he can hit you and he can defeat you. But now all of a sudden he realized it, and he bows down and he says, "Papa, I'm sorry." And then you feel, ha ha ha. That kind of an emotion Krishna went through. He said, just a moment back, he was treating me like a friend and exchanging these arguments. But now he's saying, and finally, Arjun also posed his, final opinion. His opinion is, I will not fight. That's his opinion, mind you. Please read the verse number 9. मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा गोविंद. So this is his self-declaration. But now what Krishna will say will be something that Arjun will have to follow. So you may have some opinion, but you do what your guru wants you to do. So next week, we will be reading from verse number 11 till verse number 30. And I'm requesting all of you to kindly come prepared by reading. If you haven't studied like Senayor Ubhayor Madhye 2.10, go to 1.24. That time Arjun said, take me there. And Krishna took the same, the word is being used, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye. There the word being used next is Sthapita. The Lord, placed the Rath there. Here now the Lord is going to speak between the two, battlefields, or between the two armies, so to say. So thank you so much. I hope that you are getting that nectar aspect of Bhagavad Gita, which I have a desire to convey. When you will read purport, you will come to know that I just repeated the purports to you. And when you also preach Bhagavad Gita, as much as possible, stick to what is given in the purports. Yeah, thank you so much. Next week, same time. Doesn't matter who comes. Some of you know there are many people who come to my classes when I conduct them for my online audience, but this is for you all. So take advantage as a serious student, and Krishna will bless all of us. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Arjun ki jai, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, शिल गुरु महाराज की जय, निताई गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंद हरि हरि। हरे कृष्ण, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण।